Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Arrington, and welcome to the 100th episode of Page Valley Livin. It is a very special episode and a very special milestone for us here at Page Valley Living. We want to thank all of our subscribers, all of those of you who have viewed videos over the last couple of years to help us reach this 100th episode. And we want to do something special, and we are. We're going to talk about the giving season. We're going to talk about our area food bank right here at Page One. Justin Horn, Executive Director of Page One, is joining us today. We'll be talking about the mission of the organization, the many things they do to help people in our community. But we're going to start off talking about the food bank and talking about how you can volunteer, how you can donate money or food to the food bank and help those in need during this giving season. So sit back, join us. We'll be back in just a moment after a word from our sponsor. At Luray Caverns, the Smithsonian Institution said, quote, "It is safe to say there is probably no other cave in the world more completely and profusely decorated than that of Luray. Come see Mother Nature showing off only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today." Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Page Valley Living in our 100th episode here with Justin Horn. Justin, thank you so much for being here. Well, obviously, you're always here, but thank you for taking the time today to talk to us about a very, very special program, Page One, here in the Page Valley. And you know what? You made an interesting comment before we started. Now, you've been executive director for how long?
3 years now.
3 years. And when did Page One get founded?
1977.
1977. And you made a comment a little while ago that people in Page County still don't know what Page One does.
Yeah, we do get a lot of that. A lot of people still think we're just a thrift store.
Right.
They're not aware of what our mission is and what programs we offer. They may have heard of the food bank, but a lot of it, they don't know the extent of the programs that we have and what we do contribute to the community.
Well, we're going to talk about that in our second segment when we walk upstairs in just a moment at this location over here on Bank Street in Luray. But what's in the basement is what we want to start out with. All of this food here. Now, let's talk a little bit about the types of foods you have. Where do you mainly get the food for the food bank?
So donated food comes from a variety of sources. The main sources are through Walmart and Food Line through our Meal Connect program, USDA food and purchased food, and sometimes donated free food through the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. Okay. We do get individual donations from people. They come every now and then during the year. We see most private donations usually through food drives done by one organization or another. Some individuals do food drives. We have a couple individuals that do food drives at their family reunions every year.
Right.
We also have a few other like John Henry General Store donates a lot of produce through us. They assist like a lot of food banks in their area, so he kind of distributes throughout the area, and then sometimes we'll get random calls and everything for donations and everything like truckloads of broccoli or other stuff. Catholic Charities out of Front Royal donates, and out of Verona.
Okay.
Society of St. Andrew also, they do gleaning for us every year.
Okay.
For apples and other things like that.
Okay.
So there's a wide variety of sources that we're able to get donated food, but throughout most of the year, a lot of it's purchased.
I see.
Because of the demand, we can't rely 100% on donated food.
Right.
Because it wouldn't be enough to meet the demand that we're currently seeing this year.
We're going to talk about that demand in just a second, but I'm looking here and I'm seeing beans, and we've got pasta, we got cereals, we've got cup of noodles, green beans, mac and cheese. I know further down as we're walking, there are freezers that are full of meat. We've got produce right down here, all types of produce. You even have dog food for families in need, that if they need to feed the pet as well. Peanut butter and jelly right beside us. So you get a lot of things in bulk. And if someone out there says, well, I want to go out and buy a basket of food and I want to donate it, what would be some of the things you would recommend that would help sort of fill in some of the gaps of, like, in other words, if you've got 10,000 cans of beans, we'll say, well, maybe we're good on the beans, but what else would you recommend?
Yeah, so what we're always in need of is proteins. So canned meats or anything else high in proteins is always good. That's something that's always in short supply. Dairy products, even instant milk, things like that. We're always in need of Kraft cheese slices.
Okay.
They're pretty much refrigerator stable. They can be kept for a long time.
Wow.
So that way they don't go bad immediately. You know, there's a lot more use time out of some processed cheese products and things like that. Those are always stuff that we're lacking, and it's stuff that's easy too.
Right.
Especially getting items geared towards kids.
Right.
Kids are picky eaters.
Yeah.
So even like meats like hot dogs, chicken nuggets, things like that, we're always lacking. Any type of kid-friendly item.
Right.
That's why we keep peanut butter and jelly on hand. We'll keep a couple of other, like mac and cheese. Kids will always eat mac and cheese. So we try to keep some kid-friendly items in, but a lot of it is just, it's hard to get a hold of, especially things like hot dogs and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like when we order through some of our sources, like this year, meat prices have gone up and everything. Usually things like pork and stuff is pretty low, but this year it's kind of risen up, so it's been a little harder to purchase.
Okay.
And everything. Canned tuna. Canned tuna is always a staple, but the price had risen so high during the summer we weren't able to order any.
Right. Well, let's walk right down over here, and there's these boxes that we're going to take a quick look at. You guys go ahead and you package some stuff for people. Are they allowed to kind of go in and down the aisle here and shop a little bit themselves?
Not here at this pantry. There are some pantries that do that.
Okay.
And everything. They'll kind of set up like a little, pick and choose market type thing, and then it's all done by weight. They used to do it here until COVID broke out.
Right.
And then they kind of just started doing just packing the boxes with what we have.
Right.
And this has worked out better. Clients are getting more of a variety. They're getting better options.
Right.
Instead of just picking like all the junk food or something like that. That comes through. You don't need 10 boxes of cereal or something like that.
Let's walk over here in the light a little bit more, where we're not quite as much in the shadow. But now you were saying that you have some folks, generally they come about once a month, and you're going to pack enough in a box for them to last approximately a month, and that is an average, you said, of 160 pounds of food. Is that
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. And you try to make sure you get different types of food and
different types of food.
Take nutrition into account.
Yep. Always try to get fresh produce, some sort of meat. We've had cows donated. We've had people donate cows.
Oh,
so
wow.
We'll have a whole cow processed into ground beef and everything because it's more versatile. It goes further than other stuff. So we try to get a big a variety as we can going to them. If for some reason it doesn't last them a full month, sometimes it does. Sometimes, if it doesn't last them a full month, they can always come back.
Okay, I was going to ask you if they could come back.
We don't turn anyone that's in need of food away.
And did you tell me you are now currently serving about 90 families a week? And I think the larger number was 2,571 clients. Is that a year?
So that's individual clients for the year. Now, when you factor in how many times we've done distributions, we've done over 9,000 distributions this year.
Wow.
So if, for example, if a family of 4 comes in once, that counts as 4 distributions.
Wow.
If they come in twice, then it's 8.
Well, I want people out there, too, to realize that of that 2,571, now, you say occasionally there's maybe somebody from out of the county, somebody that might be coming through the town, or, but it's rare.
It's rare.
So the point we want to make here is that 2,571 is around 11% of the population in Page County that you are feeding on a regular basis. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, that says a lot for what you all do here. And you said that we're going to talk in a minute here in the second half of the program about other things you do. But of the requests you get from all the things from help us pay the electric bill, we need heating oil, we need firewood, we need clothes, we need furniture, whatever it may be, 86% is food requests.
Is all food requests, yeah. Food is our number one most requested service and everything, and it's the one that we serve the most clients with.
Wow. Wow. Well, I tell you, it is to be commended, and you all are doing a wonderful job down here. Let's walk over here and look at these refrigerators as we wrap up this segment here a little bit. And we're just going to spin right around with the cameraman here. And now, I was wondering where I could get a radish.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big bag of radishes right there.
The Blue Ridge Area Food Bank did a lot of large produce purchases this year, and so they're filtering them through all the local pantries they work with and getting them to people who can use them.
Now, you had some fruit up here. I think there's a gentleman, a volunteer now, working, moving some stuff around. But, what is... Fresh produce is a tricky thing because you've only got a certain amount of time. You got to keep it cool. You got to have these refrigerators. How difficult is that to get like fresh vegetables, fresh produce?
It's hard. It's hard. There's some, especially like the more squishy produce, like things like peppers, bananas, and stuff that does not have like a long shelf time.
Right.
That's a little bit more difficult to get like super fresh unless we order it specifically.
Right.
We did have a program last year that we were getting some of that type of produce.
Right.
But then with cuts to federal programs and grants, that kind of went away. So we lost that source.
Something I found interesting in what you said you didn't necessarily see the spike that maybe USDA and some others maybe expected with recent things in Washington, cutbacks, things shifting around quite a bit. But there has been a steady growth since you've been here over 3 years.
There's been about a 30% increase over the past 3 years.
Wow.
And everything. So it's like my first year in here, it was a 20% increase in the next year of the client count, and then another 10% increase.
Wow.
So it's on a steady increase.
Just as far as the food bank is concerned, and again, we're going to talk about other things in a moment, but as far as the food bank is concerned, would you rather have donations of money, or would you rather have donations of everybody trying to get an extra bag at the grocery store and bring in some items?
Either one will do.
Either
one will do. Money gives us a lot more flexibility on the products that we can order,
right,
and everything to fill in gaps. If we get like a lot of like say canned green beans and we want to supplement it with something else, then having monetary donations allows us to purchase and fill that gap.
All right. As we close out this first segment, tell people right there where they can donate, how they can donate, how they can help.
You can donate money through checks sent to 35 North Bank Street, Luray, Virginia. You can also go to our website and donate through Give Butter or PayPal Giving Fund. You can also drop off checks or cash here at the office location. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 8:30 to 11. Any physical food donations can be donated here during our business hours or at our Shenandoah Pantry during their business hours.
Very good, folks. It is the giving season. Make sure you include page 1 in your giving this season. We're going to be back in a little bit more to talk about what this wonderful organization does right after this. At Luray Caverns, you can hear music of symphonic quality from ancient stone formations on the great stalacpipe organ, the largest musical instrument in the world, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today. Welcome back, everyone, to our 100th episode of Page Valley Livin'. We're upstairs now at the Bank Street office of Page One with Justin Horn, Executive Director. And we talked before, Justin, about the food bank, which, as you said, is primarily one of the big drivers here. You said 86% of the requests that you all get is about food. Let's talk about the other 14%. I know there's a number of things, but if there was a number one behind food, what would it be?
The number one requested thing behind food is electrical help. Electrical utility requests make up our next largest request portion of what people need help with here. We cover emergency utility help, emergency rental help. We also provide gas cards for clients that are having to go outside the county for treatments for cancer or dialysis appointments. Wow. This year, back in April, we started a pilot program for transportation, getting clients to vital appointments like medical appointments. They need to get to the post office, social services, getting here to the food pantry for assistance. We've also used it for delivering food.
That's a great program. How does that work exactly? Do you have a volunteer come in and then you help pay for their gas?
No. So what it is we had a van donated earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
He's worked with us before. It was when the first snow hit. He picked up somebody that was just trying to make their way to the post office, and it turned out that person was one of our clients. So he stopped by here. He's like, "Well, I have a van that I'm not using. If you guys could somehow, use it in your program, I'll donate it." So yeah, so we knew that transport has been a huge gap in the area and everything. It's been non-existent and everything. Yeah. So with the volunteers that I have, including me, we do the driving and everything. We'll pick the client up, take them to their appointment, pick them back up after they're done, and it's all free of charge.
That is an absolutely great program, because I don't know if you were aware or not, but just recently the county has secured a grant that's going to help with some transportation issues. I don't know exactly when that's going to be initiated, when they'll get the money, when they can implement that program, but there is something coming. So that's great. That's actually, as much as I try to stay in tune with Page One, I did not know you all did that.
Yeah, and we got the hospitals have our flyers, and a couple other places did. So they were able to get the word out. 42 clients so far this year.
That's for the transportation?
That's for the transportation. Yeah. And it's not just like 42 people one at a time. Some of these people will have appointments that will go on for weeks or months and everything, especially a lot of clients that have to go through physical rehab and everything. I'm picking them up on either a weekly basis or every other week and everything, and getting them to their appointment.
With it, obviously one thing that everyone's noticing is it's getting colder out there. What about in terms of helping folks with either heating bills if they have electric, or firewood, or heating oil? Is there any help out there for that?
Yeah, we do that. So we have two sources for firewood. A-Team Construction in Stanley helps us with that, okay. And Mount Carmel Church and a couple other churches have firewood programs that I can reach out to. They've all been great, taking care of our clients. Heating fuel, we are able to pay a portion of that.
Okay.
And then the client will either pay their portion, and then we pay ours, and then we'll get them heating fuel. Or if they're not able to do that, we'll try reaching out to other organizations and everything that might partner up with us for some funding.
Now that partial funding, is that because of the size of heating bills? I mean, obviously, you fill a tank, it's almost $1,000.
Well, it's for the minimum delivery and everything of heating oil through the different vendors. A lot of it's affected by the cost of heating oil. With a fluctuating market,
right,
and everything, it changes on a daily basis sometimes.
Right. Now, if a family has I know there's been tragic situations where, let's say, a family has lost their house to a fire. You all have come in and helped not only maybe with some bills, but clothing, furniture, things like that from the thrift store.
Yep.
Right?
So in cases of disasters and everything, they can come to us. They can get vouchers for clothing and furniture, depending on what we have on hand at the time. We have clothing vouchers available to all our clients and everything.
Okay.
Especially, we get a lot of referrals from like a Rise or Choices and things like that. We'll get, and the JMAP program in town.
Sure.
So and that way they can come to our thrift stores. They get 6 complete outfits for every member of their family at no charge.
Oh, wow.
Everything. And then depending on the circumstances, there may be other things that we can add to that voucher. We also have 2 church groups that help supply our homeless supplies and everything. So things like camp stoves, tents, canned food with pull tabs,
Right.
easy to prepare stuff, stuff that you can prepare with just water. Because we do get a lot of requests for that. So we have 2 church groups, and then we'll also allocate, if we get donations of sleeping bags or camping equipment, we'll keep that to the side because that's stuff that is needed out there. Can openers
Yeah.
are a big one. If they're homeless and they get canned food, if they don't have a can opener, it's going to be a little harder for them to get to it.
Absolutely.
So we try to cover first aid kits.
Okay.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, first aid kits. That's something that always kind of gets overlooked. So they'll get us first aid kits, or they'll assemble first aid kits for us.
I heard you talking about these different organizations that you're working with. I know Page One is one of the, I don't know exactly what the right adjective is, but one of the larger or more active nonprofits that helps people. But there's so many that do different things within the community, whether it have to do with drug rehab or whatever it may deal with. But a lot of them talk about working with Page One. I'd like for you to talk a little bit about, over your 3 years here, what it's been like to work with these other organizations, because from the outside looking in, at least in the last couple of years, it really looks like there's been, I don't know if there are more groups or if they're just more public or more able to be seen that are out there doing various things. And there seems also that there's been a bigger effort to try to collaborate these things and not have overlap and that kind of thing.
Yeah, when I came in, the Chamber of Commerce had started the nonprofit council. Now it's evolved into the CAT councils.
Right.
But we do. When I came in, it's like, even though I've lived here for a long time, I didn't know a lot of the groups or a lot of people. So we did a lot of introductions. We reached out, and then also reconnected to a bunch of groups that Page One used to work with that they weren't working with anymore, or just needed some updated information. So we established a lot of new ties and everything. When we've gotten an overabundance of donations, especially when we were getting a lot of donations from Cisco over the summer, that we didn't have the capacity to store everything or utilize some of it, we would reach out to the Care Closet, Arise, Choices, the Senior Center, the VFW, the Fire Department, things like that. It's like, can you use some of this? So that way it's not going to waste and everything. We know it gets out there in the community and it's doing some good somewhere.
Page One does so many wonderful things for our community. They really are something that people lean on. It's been here for almost a half century, not quite. So sum up for me, if you could, here as we kind of close out, what is the overall mission of Page One?
Our overall mission is to help those in immediate need through our different programs. While we do address ongoing needs like food, we're there to be that stopgap and everything. We want to enable people to get back on their feet and everything and become self-sustainable and everything. We're an emergency stopgap. We're not a continual support system and everything. So it's a struggle sometimes, especially monetarily. Donations have been down over the past year or so, and grants have been difficult. With the cut in federal grants, you have more organizations competing for the grants that we
Still
are competing for. So grants have become more competitive over the past 2 years and everything, as more and more organizations are seeking funds to continue their programs and everything. Like with us, our thrift stores, the revenue they provide covers all of our bills. It covers our utilities, our taxes, our payroll, and all that. And that it enables us to, so 100% of donations and grants and endowments, all that goes straight into our programs and everything. So and then any overflow from that goes into, from the thrift stores goes into our programs too. And then our stores act as hubs for, more outreach.
Well, keep fighting the good fight, and let's look right in there and tell these people how they can get involved and help you help others.
The easiest way to get information is visit our website at www.vapage1.org. It'll have information about volunteering and how to make donations. We are always in need of volunteers, whether it's in the food pantry and client intake, serving on the board, or helping at events. All of those are great and everything. But all the information is on our website and everything.
Okay.
Links to our Facebook, links to our donation portals.
Very well. Well, Justin, thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
being
Appreciate
with us
it,
today. In the giving season, folks, make sure you keep Page One on your list, at the top of that list, as an organization that helps a heck of a lot of people right here in the Page Valley. We hope you've liked episode 100. It is a special milestone for us. It means a lot. I was glad to have Justin here for the 100th episode. And if you like the episode, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. We want to thank Eleanor Arrington for all of her work behind the camera and in the editing room this week. And as always, and how we end each and every segment, make sure you get down to the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. From the Bank Street office of Page One, for Justin Horn, I'm Randy Arrington, saying until next week, enjoy that Page Valley living.